I'm going to tell you about when me and my friends snuck a letter to Hugh Jackman using spy skills. This is a story that comes from probably 2018, 2019. I can't remember exactly when it was. Me and one of my friends had talked all the time about how we wanted to meet Hugh Jackman. He's a cool guy. We respected him. We thought he was cool. We had this whole movie script idea of two people that go and kidnap Hugh Jackman to be in their movie, and then we're like, what if we actually kidnapped Hugh Jackman to be in we actually just filmed the movie by doing, anyway, just we had wanted to meet Hugh Jackman for a while. So when our other friend, and he is probably usually in New York or Australia, I don't even know. There was just one day that we're just chilling outside our apartment. We were roommates at the time, us two. And then our third friend walks up casually and he's like, did you know Hugh Jackman's in Salt Lake City today? We just look at each other and we go, we have to go now. No plan. Nothing at all in mind except for the fact that we need to get to Salt Lake City because this is the closest we've ever been to Hugh Jackman. And we got to figure this out. So we hop in a car, the three of us, and we're like, all right, we're going to make the plan on the way. We're about 45 minutes, an hour from Salt Lake City, depending on traffic. We're going to figure it out on the way. So we get in that car and we're like, all right, what is he doing? It's he's singing at the Vivint Arena for some sort of event. And he went to this restaurant. We're like, maybe we go to the restaurant. But then we looked it up and we're like, he was there earlier. We're not going to find anything at the restaurant that he was at. And we're like, even if we just have to go walk around the street, the likelihood of running into Hugh Jackman is the highest it's ever been. So we have to make this happen, right? And we're just like, dang, whatever we got to do. And as we're driving, the friend that had first told us that he was in Salt Lake has this freakish ability that from any picture, using Google Maps, he can find exactly where that picture was taken. It's just he's done it several times. It's phenomenal. So the Instagram picture, this is really creepy, but the Instagram picture that Hugh Jackman posted from his hotel, our friend was like, all right, boom, he got on Google Earth. He's like, this is the hotel that he was in. And this is the part of the hotel that he was in. He was able to find it. And we're just like, that was amazing. Now we have a lead. We don't know what we're going to do. We have a lead. So we're driving and we're thinking of stuff to do. And then it just came to me. And I was like, boys, this is our plan. This is what's going to happen. So this is what we did. This might be a short video, but we went to a store as soon as we got to Salt Lake. We bought a card and we wrote our note inside that card. Hey, we love your stuff and everything. And we make movies. If you ever want to check us out, our independent films, stuff like that. We wrote this note and I told them about the movies we make with autistic actors and everything. So the inside was all authentic. We closed it. We put it in the envelope. We wrote Mr. Jackman on the outside, right? So that was the first step in the plan. My roommate at the time who was driving just happened to be well-dressed and he looks kind of older than he is. So this was part of the plan to sell it, but he was well dressed. He looked like somebody who had just got off work at a semi professional. He had a button up shirt and some loafers on and just jeans or whatever, and kind of a nice jacket. So anyway, what we decided to do is we went to the hotel that we knew Hugh Jackman was staying at, which nobody knew. It was undisclosed. You're not supposed to know that that's where he was. We just found it out because of the freakish skills and abilities of my other friend. But we had my roommate take the letter. And he's an actor, so he was able, this was another one, if you've seen my other episode about getting pulled over in Mexico, sometimes acting skills come in handy, right? Because you're not using them for evil. You're just using them for, these special operations, right? We weren't trying to hurt anybody or do, anyway. He's a really, really good actor, one of the best actors I know. So what he did is he goes into this hotel, and he goes up to the front desk, and he goes, hey, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to help me out, but I own a limo company here in the city. And one of my guys just got off their shift and they gave me something that was left in one of our limos. I think it might belong to kind of a high profile client that you have in the hotel. And the guy's like, oh, well, we can't talk about any of that stuff, who's here or whatever. They, your celebrities won't even book under their own name. They'll book under their agent's name or something. So they're totally not allowed to talk about it, even though they know. But at that point, he's like, well, he pulls out the freaking envelope. The envelope says Mr. Jackman on it. And he just looks at the guy, and the guy's like, okay, yeah, he's here. And so boom, confirmation. And my roommate was just, again, amazing. We weren't there. We were waiting in the car. He just told us about it afterwards. But I just, the way he's able to sell a role, he's just hey, listen, I don't want to be responsible for this. Like, if this is, I don't know where this is from. It looked like a thank you card or something, you know, and he's just like, hey, like, if you can just make sure that just gets to the right hands. I just don't want to be like, I don't want my company to be responsible for this. So he was kind of like, help me with this thing. Like, this is, you know, I need you to help me out with this, and kind of like, not like I need you to do something for me, but like I don't want to be responsible for this. So it was kind of like sort of an ingenious use of reverse psychology. Instead of saying like, give me this, it was more like, take it. Take this thing. I don't want this thing. And that made it much more likely for the guy to be like, okay, we'll take it. We'll get it to the right hands or whatever. And so we'll never know. We'll never know what happened to that card. You know, I never received, my email was in there. I never received an email from Hugh Jackman's creative team. But like in my heart, I truly believe that he got that card. Because it just makes sense that like, oh, this was left in, like, why would somebody create this enormously elaborate scheme to get him a card like that? You know, like the sorts of levels you'd have to be thinking on. I think it's very likely that he saw it, you know, or at least, you know, one of his security team saw it and then told him about it. Anyway, in my mind, Hugh Jackman saw our card. And I just loved the fact that we were like, without a plan, we just hopped in the car. We just headed towards Salt Lake City and just formed this thing, and it just worked, and it felt like it was executed so perfectly. And I'm just like, you know, that sort of stuff, when you're just like really harmless and you're not trying to take advantage of anybody, you're just using spy skills to just like enrich people's life experiences, you know, because like how hilarious would have been if he would have saw that. I think inside of it, we're like, we used some Greatest Showman trickery to get this to you. We like literally wrote that in it, and I feel like if he would have read it, hopefully it would warm his heart and not make him just like paranoid that, you know, people can do stuff like that. But anyway, Hugh Jackman's a great guy, and I hope he got our letter. And it was so much fun. And it's a really good story to tell too. I feel like social engineering stuff like that, if it's just honestly just harmless and for fun and enjoyment, can be just like super great. And anyway, I wanted to share that story with you guys. If Hugh Jackman ever sees this video, please tell me if you got our card, because it would make my life to just know that it was a successful operation. That's real life. It happened exactly like that. That's the other thing. All of my stories are true. Like, I promise you, I'm not exaggerating with any of that. Everything happened exactly like I said it did. I know you don't have to believe me necessarily because I'm just somebody on YouTube saying this stuff, but I kind of don't have to make it up. It actually happened. And yeah, like those sorts of things are doable. Those sorts of adventures. Adventure doesn't have to be traveling to a hot tourist location, or, you know, like doing these incredible, huge, dangerous stunts, or spending thousands and thousands of dollars to go halfway across the world. Like, adventure can be things like that, you know? Adventure can be as simple as reading a new book, or just doing something you've never done before, even taking a different path home from work or something. Like, I truly believe that everyday adventure is as variable as the adventurers that are trying to have the adventures. And anyway, I'm just a huge proponent of that sort of stuff. It adds variety to life to fill your experience with side quests. And that was a very, very fun, good side quest that we had. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you have just a wonderful day. And yeah, Hugh Jackman.